Hi, this is not my normal type of video, and I honestly I don't have an audience. I don't have people that really consistently view my videos, not that I know of. Anyway, but I don't want to feel helpless. I want to talk about the Stop Killing Games initiative. We're about 100,000, 90-ish thousand signatures away from the million we need for the petition for the European Citizens Initiative, the Stop Killing Games Initiative, and we're roughly at 90% for the UK one also. But the one that's giving me a lot of hope is the European Citizens Initiative. And right now I've got Blaze here with me, like he is in every one of my videos, and he doesn't know too much about it.
Hello.
So I'm going to try to explain it to him, and in turn, I'll explain it to you guys. In the best way I can.
I'm actively uninformed.
I will explain it in the best way I can. I will try to represent the information to my knowledge as best as I can. If I get anything wrong, please tell me. But if I can get at least one person to sign that petition that is in Europe, I will call this a success. Even if I don't have an audience, I want to feel like my voice did something for this. So, the Stop Killing Games Initiative is a consumer movement, essentially. That challenges the legality of publishers destroying video games that they've already sold to a customer. What that means is, a prime example of that is The Crew 2. On March 31st of last year, Ubisoft stopped supporting The Crew 2. You can no longer play the game, despite the fact that you have purchased the game. That's what the Stop Killing Games Initiative is trying to end. They're trying to get it so companies can't do that anymore. And in saying that, there are some people that think what that means is forcing companies to keep servers up, essentially making them spend more money to keep the servers up. That's not correct. I've been seeing that get thrown around a lot. What it means is when the game developers or publishers that don't want to continue supporting the game, give control of that game over to the players so they can create their own servers, so they can keep playing the game because they spent their money on it. Back on topic, there are a fair few examples of stuff like this working. And what I mean is not essentially in this way working, but... okay. Let me explain. There are a fair few things that the creator of this petition has already done, and I will put those things on screen that have failed. Most of them have resulted in dead ends, between submitting complaints to the European consumer centers, making contracts with, or making contacts with people in the EU that could help. But to not focus on the things that we couldn't do anymore because we've already tried, I want to focus on the things that we could do. And realistically, right now, the only thing we can do is sign that petition. Or get as much information out there as we can for people to make up their mind on whether they want to sign the petition. I want to help push that last 10% we need. Because even if you think this can't do something, it can. I have examples. In 2016, the Federal Court of Australia ruled that the Valve Corporation, the company that runs Steam, had misled its consumers about their refund rights. So essentially, the Australian people and the Australian government sued Valve and forced them to have their current refund policy. If we can do that with one of the biggest gaming platforms on the planet, we can hold companies and game publishers accountable for what we buy. If that makes sense.
I mean, heck, didn't the EU also get past the thing for the USB-C chargers for Apple?
Yeah, the USB-C lawsuit in the EU, essentially in the EU and Europe, I think it's already gone through. Apple now has to use USB-C chargers. So it's more consumer friendly. The UK is trying to enforce the same thing. There are examples of stuff like this working. And I understand it's hard to get people to care about things. I get that. As someone that plays games myself, I wasn't really invested in this up until about 4 months ago. And then since then, I've been following it. I really want it to work because I don't want the thing I adore doing, the thing I want to turn into my career, my hobby. I don't want it to disappear. I don't want it to become this jumbled up mess of a thing. Now, if you don't exactly know to a degree what I'm talking about, I'll give you 2 examples of companies that could easily shut down a game and you wouldn't be able to play them anymore and you couldn't do anything about it. Ubisoft, in its I don't know how to say it, in its end user license agreement, says that they may terminate this ELO at any time for any reason. Which what that means is in their end of user license agreement, it means they can shut down any server for any of their games whenever they want. And you won't be able to play them anymore. Ubisoft already did that to The Crew. But another prime example, if you think it's only Ubisoft that has it, Blizzard reserves the right to terminate this agreement at any time for any reason, or for no reason, with or without noticing you. Meaning they can shut down a game like Overwatch, not a great example, but they can shut down a game like Overwatch without telling you. And any bit of money you spent on it is just gone. That is so wrong and messed up. And even if this video doesn't get any views, even if it doesn't do well, I will still feel like that I have done to a degree as much as I could, even if I'm not a big YouTuber, even if I don't have an audience. I want anybody that will listen to spread this information, to share it with your friends, share it with anybody you know that's in Europe. Sign this petition. Do your part. It doesn't hurt you. If it doesn't go through, it doesn't go through. But we're so close, and this could make a major difference for the gaming industry. So I really hope you care about it as much as I do. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about a topic that I personally barely even know anything about. But I tried my best to keep all the information as together as I could and pulled all the information I knew on the topic there, if that makes sense. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Thank you so much for watching. And as a disclaimer, if you got this far, please don't subscribe to my channel. I don't want this video to gain subscribers. I don't want this video... I'm not doing this for attention. I don't want this to be the reason I grow. So if you do agree with what I say, go watch my other content. And if you enjoy it, then subscribe. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Thank you so much for being here.